video.
Yeah, I've started. Okay, so now see here, to run each and every business system, we are using the corresponding applications here. Some are SAP, some are non-SAP applications here. So each and every application understand their own standard format. So directly we cannot communicate with the one application to another application here, or one to another system. So in order to integrate these applications, in order to exchange the data between these applications, in order to communicate one application to another application or one system to another system, in the olden days, people are using point-to-point integration here. See here, this is the point-to-point integration what we discussed in the last class here. If you go to the point-to-point integration, what will happen? Okay, so the connections increase here. The mediators also will increase here. Okay, like that we have multiple disadvantages here. So let me write disadvantages of point-to-point integration here. So write down disadvantages of point-to-point integration like this. So if you go for the point-to-point integration, okay, so we have multiple disadvantages here. So write down the first one is we would require n number of connections here. We would require number of connections. This is the first thing here. So next one, the second one is we would require n number of mediators. Right. Next one is the third one is the cost is more here. So next one is the fourth one is complexity also more here. We require n number of resources to manage our landscape here. We would require n number of resources to manage our landscape. Right. So next one is the monitoring also. See here, next one is the troubleshooting is very tough here. Troubleshooting is very complex here, very tough here. In case of any transaction fails, in our landscape, right? So if you add a new business system, if you add a new business system, in existing landscape, again how many connections we require here? Again we need to establish n number of connections here, and also n number of connections. Again we require n number of mediators. Again the complexity will increase like that, right? So if you go like this one, okay, one fine day what will happen? Our business will collapse. Here, right? Because of all above advantages, disadvantages. So what will happen? One fine day our business will collapse here, right? So to overcome these disadvantages, in order to run our business smoothly, SAP identified one middleware that is called as a PARPO here. Okay, so the same landscape we're going to use a middleware here. Okay, so to overcome these disadvantages here, SAP provided one middleware that is called as a SAP PARPO here. SAP PARPO here. Now here, if you go for the PARPO, so no need to provide the corresponding these many connections here. No need to use the corresponding multiple mediators here. Okay. So let's try to put a middleware here now. I'm going to remove all the connections. So instead of using a point-to-point integration, we are going to use the corresponding middleware here. Let's remove all these connections. right? See here, this is okay. So in our organization, we are going to use multiple applications to integrate these applications. Previously, we used that is a point-to-point connection. Now I am going to use a middleware here. What is the middleware name here? XIRPO. This is the middleware what we are going to use here now, right? This is the middleware what we are going to use here. So if you go for this SAP PARPO, where it will sit here, it will sit in the middle of our business here. It is also called as a middleware. It is also called as a middleware here. Clear? It is also called as a middleware. See here, if you go for the middleware, each and every application will connect with the PARPO itself. PARPO itself here. So each and every application will connect with the PIR itself like this. See here, okay, so here no need to use n number of connections here. This PIR PO itself acts as a single connector or single mediator who is going to communicate with all other applications in our landscape or within the landscape or out of landscape also here. So now here the monitoring also bit easier. We can monitor all transactions through PO itself because whatever transactions happening in our organization, all transactions will go through only PIR PO itself. PIR PO itself here, right? So this PIR PO itself act as a single point of contact for our business here. Single point of contact for our business. Right. So based on this, okay, we'll give a definition here. So we'll try to enter the definition here. Now SAP PARPO is the integration technology, or it is an integration tool, or it is an integration software, or it is an integration, okay, application, or it is an integration system to integrate multiple applications here. That is SAP or non-SAP. Using this XIR PARPO, we can exchange the data between into any application here or any system to any system here, right? So we'll try to give a definition here. So based on this, we'll try to give a definition part here. So now, right? So SAP XIR PARPO is the integration technology or integration tool or integration software or integration application to integrate integrate applications or systems here using this XIR PARPO, we can exchange the data. So we can exchange the data between any application to any application here. Between any application to any application here. So what are the applications we can see here? So that is SAP and non-SAP here. SAP and non-SAP applications here. Non-SAP applications here. So that is okay. So SAP and non-SAP applications here. Sometimes we can see the integration SAP to SAP. We can see the integration to SAP integration. If you sometimes you need to extend the data between SAP within SAP to SAP applications. Sometimes you need to extend the data between SAP to non-SAP also here. Next one is the non-SAP to SAP also you need to do here, right? So again, okay, so non-SAP to non-SAP also we can see here. So non-SAP to non-SAP here. So using this XIR PARPO, we can extend the data between any application to any application here. So this is okay for only integration capability here. Okay, so this is the capabilities of RPO like this we can see here. So this is the first capability like this, right? The similar way with the next capability here, right? So using this XIR PARPO, we can use anywhere here. Okay, if you want, you can use in a ATA integration. So if you want, you can use an ATA integration. What do you mean by ATA here? See here, that is application to application here. Application to application integration here. Application to application integration here. So what do you mean by application to application integration here? So within the organization, if you have a n number of applications, if you want to extend the data, if you want to extend the data between these applications, always we go for the ATA integration here. Application to application integration. Are you clear? So this AT is okay. So AT is means what? What do you mean by AT here? Application to application here within the organization, within the landscape, within the network. If you have a n number of applications or n number of systems, if you want to integrate these applications or if you want to extend the data between these applications, for the ATA integration here. ATA integration here. For example, right, so right, okay, so within the organization, just okay, so first I'll give you an example here. See here, okay, right, example here, right. So okay, see here, we have a two systems here, right. This is my SAP. So this is my source. Okay, the source is okay. Now we have a purchase order department here, we have a PO department here. So what is the department name here? Purchase order department name here. Okay, so this is the BS system, business system one here. In the same organization, we have okay business system that is called as a, so here we have a one more here that is called a okay destination system here. What is the destination system name here? See here, we have a sales department here, we have a sales department here. See here, this is the business system two here. So here we have a business system two here. Assume that this business system is one is running on either SAP or non-SAP here. Okay, so to run the corresponding business system one, we are using SAP or non-SAP applications here. The same way, okay, to run the corresponding business system two, so here we are going to use okay corresponding SAP or non-SAP applications here. Right, so this to run the corresponding sales department, we are using SAP or non-SAP application. Just assume that. So now see here, if you observe here, the source and target systems understand the different format here. SAP or non-SAP understand there's a own standard format here. So directly we cannot communicate with this purchase order department with the sales department here. Then how we are going to communicate these applications here? Using middleware here, right? So this is the middleware what we are going to use here. This is the middleware here. This is the middleware here. So that is called as SAP PAR PO here. This is the middleware what we are going to use here, right? So this middleware, so here, okay, so first from source, it will come to the PO. From source, it will come to the PO. Whenever the order is created, the purchase order is created, first it will come to the PO here. So now PO level, okay, so here we'll do the validations, filtrations, everything here as per target. Then the output of the PO again, it will pass to the target here. Will pass to the target here. Right. See here, now here we can see the corresponding, see here, okay, the same thing, it will go to the corresponding target system here. So now what will happen here? This sender receiver application, this is my sender, this is my receiver here. The sender and receiver applications are sitting in the same organization here. If you want to integrate these type of applications here, if you want to do this type of integration here, always it is called as a to A integration here. Application to application integration. Application to application integration here. Clear? So what do you mean data integration here? Within the landscape or within the infrastructure, if you have a n number of applications, if you want to integrate these applications or if you want to extend the data between these applications, always we go for the A to A integration here. Application to application integration. I hope you are clear, right? So let's put the same thing in the here, right? So what do you mean by A to A here? within the organization or within the landscape, right? Here within an organization or within the landscape or within the infrastructure, if you have n number of applications, n number of applications or systems, okay, if you want to integrate these applications, if you want to integrate these applications, or if you want to extend the data between these applications, if you want to exchange the data between these applications, then we go for the ATA integration here. ATA integration here. ATA integration here. Application to application integration. Please remember this point here. So if you go to the real time, okay, so if you go to the interviews also, people may ask you this question: what type of integration you did, okay, in your career? So whether it is ATA integration or whether it is a B2B integration, like that, they will ask you. If you done any ATA integration, can you take one business requirement and explain me the why you use it? That is the ATA integration, like that they will ask you, right? So just you need to remember this is the one of the example here, right? So within the organization, within the landscape, or within the infrastructure, if you have a n number of applications, or if you have a number of applications or systems here, if you want to integrate these applications or if you want to extend the data between these applications, always we go for the ATA integration here, application to application integration here. So for example, assume that we have two departments here, we have two business systems here. So one is the purchase order department, one is the sales department here. See here, this purchase order department is running on either SAP or non-SAP applications, whereas sales department is running on SAP or non-SAP here. Directly we cannot communicate with the this purchase order department with the corresponding sales department here, right? So how you are going to communicate, how you are going to integrate these applications, how you are going to extend the data between these two applications here automatically here using middleware. What is the middleware name here? SAP PA or PO here. So that is a process integration or process orchestration here. So in this type of integrations called as a to A integration here, application to application integration. I hope you are clear, right? The similar way. So this is the one more capability here. Next one is we'll go ahead with the okay. Next one is the B2B integration here. So if you want, you can use in B2B integration also here. B2B integration here. So what do you mean by B2B here? B2B here. So business to business integration here. It is called as a business to business integration here. See here, business to business integration. So what do you mean by business to business integration here? See here, okay, so if you want to extend the data between one organization to another organization, one landscape to another landscape, okay, so one infrastructure to another infrastructure, or one partner to another partner, these partners are sitting in the out of network. If you want to extend the data between these applications, then we go for the okay B2B integration or party based communication here, right? See here, this is my customer here. So this is the customer here, customer side. So it is organization one here. It is also called as a, so it is okay partner one like this. See here, this is the partner one here. So this is the partner one. Partner one is sitting in the one organization here. See here, this partner one here. So this is my partner one here. right? This is my partner one. See here, partner one is sitting in the one organization here. Again, we have a vendor here. We have a vendor here. So vendor is okay sitting in the different organization here. Vendor is sitting in the different organization, right? Vendor is sitting in the different organization here. This is my vendor here. This is partner two here. See here, partner one and partner two is sitting in the different organization here, right? So here customer, we have a vendor here. You need to provide the automatic transactions between this customer and vendor here, but the customer and vendor is sitting in the different organizations, right? So this is my organization one, R1 infrastructure, or it is a particular landscape here, whereas vendor is sitting in the so different organization or different infrastructure or different landscape level here. So directly we cannot communicate with the customer to vendor here. Directly we cannot communicate with the customer to vendor. Then how we are going to communicate here? Using middleware here. That is SAP PAR PO here. So if you want to do this type of integrations, always we go for the B2B integration here. Business to business integration. Right? So now we'll change the definition here. Previously ATA is nothing but we discussed about within the organization here. Now we'll change this. Okay. So if you want to exchange the data, if you want to exchange the data, exchange data. If you want to exchange the data, organization or landscape, or infrastructure level, then we go for the infrastructure level. So then we go for the B2B integration here, business to business integration. Clear? Or here if you want to exchange the data, between partners, partner systems which are sitting in the out of network, which are sitting in a different organization level, different org level or infrastructure level. Okay, so then we go for the B2B integration here. Then we go for the B2B integration here, business to business integration. Please remember this point here. It's a very, very important point here. So if you go to the interviews also, people may ask you this question here. Have you worked on any B2B integration? If you done, can you take one business requirement, what you did for B2B and explain with the business requirement and how you implemented in the PO level, like that they may ask you. So this B2B is very, very important nowadays. So that's what initial classes I given one concept that is called as the B2B add-ons. Apart from the ATA integration, I am going to explain in the corresponding B2B also. Now it's a very, very important here. In the older versions, we don't have any capability to perform a B2B integration. Now, whereas in the latest version, we have a B2B capabilities also in PO. So that is called the B2B add-ons. We'll discuss going forward what do you mean by B2B add-ons, how it works, how we are going to integrate these applications using B2B add-ons here. So everything we'll discuss in depth. Okay, so as of now, just try to remember here. So using this PAR PO, we can do the AT integration as well as B2B integration here. What do you mean by AT here? Within the organization or within the landscape or within the infrastructure, if you have a number of applications, if you want to integrate these applications or if you want to extend the data between these applications, always we go for the A2A integration here. Whereas B2B indicates business to business integration here. So if you want to extend the data out of organization level or out of infrastructure level or out of network level, or if you want to extend the data between partners, so the partners are sitting in the, assume that the partners are sitting in the out of network or out of landscape level, If you want to do this type of integrations here, always we go for the B2B integration here. For example, so we have a customer here, we have a vendor. Customer is sitting in the one organization, whereas vendor is sitting in the different organization here. So directly we cannot connect with the customer to here. Then how we are going to communicate these two applications here? Using middleware here. What is the middleware name here? SAP PAR PO here. SAP PAR PO here. So that is called as the B2B integration part here. Next, the same way, so we'll talk about some more capabilities of the our PO here. So if you want, you can use this XIR PAR PO for asynchronous communication as well as synchronous communication here. Asynchronous and synchronous communication here. Synchronous communication. Asynchronous as well as synchronous communication here. So if you want, you can use for asynchronous as well as synchronous communication here. So what do you mean by asynchronous communication here? Asynchronous is nothing but, first we'll take it a asynchronous communication here. So what do you mean by asynchronous communication? Asynchronous is nothing but one-way communication here. Asynchronous is nothing but, what is the asynchronous here? It's a one-way communication here. So while exchanging the data between one application to another application, you need to decide this communication here, whether it is a one-way or two-way here. That we will define by synchronous or synchronous here. Asynchronous one-way communication. Please remember this point here. See here, for example, okay, now see here, if you want to use the corresponding this XIR PAR PO, minimum we require two systems here. One is the source, one is the target here, right? So we require two systems here. This is my source system here, right? This is my source system here. This source is running on either SAP or non-SAP here. Whereas the target, we have a target here. See, a target also is running on SAP or non-SAP system here, right? SAP or non-SAP system here. This is my target system. Again, it is running on SAP or non-SAP system here. So it is running on SAP or non-SAP here. Directly, we cannot communicate these here. Then how we are going to communicate these applications here? Using middleware. This is the middleware what we are going to use here. That is called as SAP PAR PO here, right? So now see here, okay, so the source system here, the source system will send a request. Whatever data you are getting from the source system, that same data, it will go to the corresponding PO, right? It will go to the PO. If required in the PO level, we'll do the validations, filtrations. Again, the output of the PO again will send to the corresponding target system here. See here, again the output of the PO system that will send to the target or destination system here. But the target system never send response back to the source here. That is called as asynchronous here. That is called as a one-way communication here. So we'll get a request. Okay, we'll get some data from the source system. That data will come to the PO. So PO level, if required, we'll do the validations, filtrations, everything will do here. So the output of the PO system that will send to the corresponding target system, but the target system never send response back to the source. That is called as a asynchronous communication. It is also called as a one-way communication, like that we'll define here. Clear? So what do you mean by one-way communication here? What do you mean by asynchronous here? Asynchronous is nothing but one-way communication. The source system will send a request. The same request corresponding target system, but the target system never send response back to the source. That is called as a asynchronous communication here. Right? Next one is the synchronous communication here. So next one is the synchronous communication here. Next one is the synchronous communication. Right? Next we'll go for the synchronous communication here. So what do you mean by synchronous communication? That we'll see here. So here synchronous is nothing but two-way communication here. Synchronous is nothing but two-way communication, like that we'll define here. Two-way communication. What do you mean by two-way communication here? See here, the source system will send a request. See here, the source system will send a request here. The source system will send a request here, right? So the same request will go to the corresponding target system here. See here, based on that, okay, source here, again the target system will send a response back to the source. That is called as a synchronous communication here. That is called as a two-way communication here. That is called as a two-way communication here. See here, the source system will send a request. Again, based on that request, it will go to the corresponding target. Again, based on that request, you'll get a response from the target here. Okay, see here, this is the response here. So the same response we are going to send to the again, okay, source here. That is called as a synchronous communication here. See here, this is the first one in the request, right? See here, the same request will go to the corresponding target, right? Again, we'll get the corresponding response here. This is my response. The same response, it will go to the source here. So that is called as a synchronous communication here. That is called as a synchronous communication. Right? That is called as a synchronous communication here. It is also called as a two-way communication here. It is also called as a two-way communication. For example, okay, now assume that, okay, we'll take one example here. Okay, so we have a paid status information here. We have a paid status interface. Invoice paid status information here. Invoice is nothing but bill, right? Invoice paid status here. For example, invoice paid status here, right? What will happen here? We'll send a invoice number. We'll send a one bill number here. Okay, invoice number here. This is the as a request. Invoice number will send here. Assume that 123. The same invoice number, it will go to the corresponding, okay, destination system here. The same invoice number, it will go to the destination system here, invoice number here. So now once you send an invoice number, so based on that invoice number, we'll check whether the payment is made or not. Okay, what is the status of the particular invoice here? Whether the payment is made or not, we'll check in the destination system here. That status again will send back to the source here, whether it is paid or unpaid like this. We'll send the status here, that is a paid status here, whether it is a paid or unpaid like this, whether it is a paid or unpaid like that, will send a response here. So based on that, okay, the source system will take action here. Okay, if it is paid, that's when. If it is not paid, why it is not paid like that, they will take actions here. See here, the same thing, it will go to the corresponding, okay, target here, right? Source here, sorry, from target to source. So this is the status here, paid or unpaid like this, we can see here. So that is called as a synchronous communication here. That is called as a two-way communication. So if you want, you can use for asynchronous communication, or if you want, you can use for synchronous communication. See, you need to identify while, okay, transferring the data, while exchanging the data between applications, always you need to identify what is the mode of communication here, whether it is a synchronous communication or whether it is a synchronous communication here. So if it is asynchronous communication, always, okay, it is a one way here. If it is synchronous communication, okay, it is called as a two-way communication here. So these are all some of the capabilities what we have in a PAR PO here. Okay, so meanwhile, we'll discuss some more capabilities and we'll go ahead with the further on this here. So now we know what is the use of this technology here. It is used for only integration purpose here. If you have any integration requirements in your landscape, always we go for the PAR PO here. Okay, are you clear up to here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let me share this, okay, recording to you guys.
Yes, sir.
Please go through and, okay, so we'll continue again from tomorrow. And okay, so probably to, okay, morning time, what time you are free? Morning time daily. Or you want morning or evening time?
Morning time, sir.
Morning.
Morning time 6 o'clock is okay. 6 to 7. Okay, so we'll discuss under this part. Okay, I'll send this recording first to you.